Okay, good afternoon. A lot of good work the last 2 days. I enjoy it when it's a little bit hot out here, a little bit warm out here. I think that's always forces the players to focus even a little bit harder, and I thought they did a good job of that. Questions?
I think Sam asked you about the improvement that the secondary makes from week 1 to week 2. Is that the case for the entire team? Is that what's your expectation as far as improvement from one week to the next?
My expectation is just that they'll continue to improve as the season goes on. I've heard that expression. I think sometimes it's hard to quantify, depending on the teams you play week 1 and week 2. But the teams that compete for championships at the end of the year, they get better as the year goes on, and certainly that would apply week 1 to week 2. And any players you had out there in the first week that haven't been out there before, you would expect them to be better week 2, just from having the experience.
The Chris we saw last year, Laviano last year, was kind of a game manager. Obviously, the situation dictated that, but then the other day he obviously took some shots downfield. How much has he developed as a guy you're comfortable actually making plays?
Yeah, we're very comfortable with Chris running the offense, and different games dictate different things that you need from your offense, and we're confident that he can do all the things that we want him to do within the offense. It's not. I don't think we have any less offense than we had last year. If anything, we have a little bit more because these guys have all been in the system now.
What new defensive coordinator? Have they changed much schematically?
You definitely see a little bit of the Missouri influence, and he wasn't the coordinator at Missouri; he was an assistant coach there. But you definitely see some influence. A lot of the front structure is very similar to what they did last year, though.
Coach, what kind of problems does Mike Leach's offense pose, especially for your young secondary?
They force every player you have on defense to play in space. I mean, they are going to stretch the field horizontally and vertically on every play, and philosophically, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to take great athletes and put them in space one-on-one with the assumption that their great athletes are going to win those one-on-ones. And you got to make sure on defense you're in position to win some of those one-on-ones, and also that you're flying around on defense to get extra bodies to the ball that they're not counting on.
How big of a boost would it be if you can get Kai back out there this week?
It's a tremendous boost. Yeah, to have him back, talented football player. We're really excited about his trajectory in training camp, and he's been running around for a couple days now, so far so good.
Tywan Lewis, obviously, was a transfer, but are you seeing him step up as a leader to the defense in some ways?
I need him to be a great communicator. The leadership part, he'll have some of that presence just because he's an older player, but as the middle linebacker, I need him to be a great communicator, and he's done a good job so far. He'll be challenged a little bit more this week, I think, with the tempo of the offense we're going to see. And then as we go forward, it'll be good to have a veteran there as we get down the line. But right now, I'm pleased with how he's done as a communicator.
Yeah, I know he hasn't been here that long, but does some of the shorthandedness in the secondary push Najee Clayton up the ladder? And what have you seen from him in the week or so he's been here?
It pushes everybody. Yeah, it pushes everybody up, and it's next man up mentality. And whoever goes in the game's got to play like a starter. He's somebody that we're investing time in right now. I think the sample size is probably too small, but we've noticed right away he's a talented football player. So we're excited he's on the team.
How's Matt Flanagan improved since last season, going out this past weekend, getting a big play, and then earning a scholarship this offseason too?
With the tight ends, I think everybody always notices the catches, and he had a touchdown, and that's exciting for him, and I'm happy for him and his family. But he's become a more consistent blocker. That's the most important thing. You get those tight ends, if they're not effective enough blockers, all they are is slow receivers, and that's not what anybody's looking for. So we need them to be complete players. I think he's a more consistent blocker now than he's ever been.
Coach, what's the most important aspect of the game for Saturday? What are you putting the most emphasis on to make sure you come out 1-0?
Well, that doesn't really change for us. We have certain things we always focus on. Drive start is very important to us. That comes up a couple different ways in the game with special teams. Taking care of the football and taking it away. Turnovers are always a determining factor, and then creating explosive plays and minimizing explosive plays. Those are the things that over time statistically win football games for you, and we focus on them every week.
Hayden made his first start last week. He hadn't played in 2 or 3 years. Chris is making his first career start this week, but you've seen him. Is there a different comfort level? Does it not feel like it's his first start?
He would probably tell you that he feels like his first start was last week in the second half. Going out there and coming out of getting ready in the locker room and coming out and warming up and playing. So I don't know if it'll quite feel the same. It doesn't feel like his first start to me, I guess, because I've seen him. So I guess the answer to your question is yes, it feels a little bit different to me.
What's your take on the O-line? Are you still looking to use maybe more than 5 guys?
I believe we'll play more than 5, but I do believe there's a separation, as I've been saying. I'm pleased with how those first 5 guys are performing right now.
How much do you pay attention to their quarterback injury situation, and does it change anything, or do they just run their offense, you think?
Coach Leach said he's 100%. So from that standpoint, I don't really pay much attention to it. No, I don't think the offense will change one bit. It's a system offense, and he's had a lot of players over the years who have been really, really successful running that system. So I don't think it'll change one bit.
Coach, do you think all the scrutiny and the adversity you had to overcome in the weeks leading up to your first game, do you think that brought the team closer together?
I do, and I felt that way all along. And now, we got a chance to see it in the first game. So I said last week, and you won't really know until you go out there and play if you got a team that's been brought together or a team that's been distracted. I felt like it brought the team close together, and I feel like we got a focus group again this week.
2 more questions. Do you have to talk to the younger guys about not taking what Washington State did in week 1 for granted at all?
I think the young guys right now are working so hard to learn game plans for the first time. I'm not sure they're thinking about that.
Any other questions, guys?
Thank you.